Hi, I'm Kate and I'm here with Women to Watch, and this is Shannon Christensen. And this is a woman who's truly stepped off the beaten path, and I can't wait to ask her some questions. So before we get into that, can I just ask you quickly, what do you do?
Well, I'm the founder and the executive director of Mamas for Mamas, a nonprofit organization here in Kelowna, and I'm a trauma counselor at the Elizabeth Fry Society.
Wow. So every morning you wake up and you do something that's draining, but at the same time invigorating. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and how you motivate yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Well, for one thing, my job at the Elizabeth Fry Society, many people feel like it would be draining because, you know, as the sexual assault trauma counselor, you do hear a lot of stories and you do deal with a lot of pain. But the empowerment you get to give to these women through supporting them through their journey, it truly fills you up.
Yeah.
It doesn't deplete you like some people might think. And so for me, that's sometimes the best part of my day is when I get to help somebody find a part of themselves that they'd lost.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And so how did you get into that area though? Like what was your upbringing? What did your parents do, for example?
Well, I always wanted to be a counselor when I was younger, just because I thought that it would be a really great way to give back. My dad was a lawyer, and he asked me more than once to please not follow in his footsteps.
Oh, really?
I'd really wanted to become a lawyer, actually. I wanted to work with him, take over his firm, go that route, and he said, "Your heart's too big, darling. You've got to follow your heart. You've got to do what you love."
That's wonderful.
And I really loved psychology, and he wanted to be a neuropsychologist, I learned later in life.
Oh.
And so, you know, I just kind of got some of my passion from that. And my mom was a teacher, and she's this woman who just never stops, never gives up. That's where I got a lot of my determination and tenacity, I guess you could say, for giving back and for doing things that don't necessarily give you a paycheck, but give you so much more.
Yeah.
So we would have friends that would need a place to stay or a warm meal or just some love, and you came over to our place and the original mama, my mom, she'd get it to you.
Yeah, the door was always open.
Always.
Right? Oh,
And
that's so wonderful.
Yeah, that was just a really important lesson to learn early on.
Did they give you like any key words of wisdoms or phrases that you can share with some of our Kelowna Now watchers that really kind of carried with you throughout your life?
There's a couple for sure. The one is be good to yourself. That comes from my Nana. She always wants to make sure that people are looking after themselves first, even though that's something that as women we're often taught not to do. My mom would always say, "It's us against the world. We can do anything if we are together." And that's a big piece of how I run Mamas for Mamas. You know, together. It's not one person, it's not a hierarchy, it's team.
It's
Teamwork all the way through and through.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was something my dad always said too that stuck with me, and he always said, "Darling, there's not enough time to be in a hurry. Enjoy life, do what you love.
Wonderful.
It'll never feel like work."
Yeah, that's great. So you said though that there's times as women, and I totally get what you meant when you said there's times when we're told not to look after ourselves. Can you develop a little bit upon that and what it's been like in your life when you've had those moments when people have said, "Do this, do that," and you've said, "No, I have to take care of myself"?
Yeah, and that's something that I'm learning to do more and more of because, you know, if we don't put our oxygen mask on first, we can't put the oxygen mask on for the people beside us. And I can't be there for my children, I can't be there for my husband and my incredible family if I'm depleted. So I've had to learn to say no to things that aren't absolutely necessary, although I would love to do everything. What we always say at Mamas for Mamas is, we can do anything, but we can't do everything. So, you know, we really just have to remember that. And yeah, we're really taught, I think, often early in life that we are to give and not to be selfish and not to take and, you know, look after the children, look after your husband, look after your family. And luckily in my world, we all look after each other. My husband does just as much around the house as I do.
It's wonderful.
It's all about teamwork.
Yeah, and that you found that balance, because working in your field, it must be difficult because you give back so much. It's all about giving back, right? It's all about making a change, but you've also got to take that step back and say, you know, this is for me, I've got to do that.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you do that gives you that balance and helps you step back and love yourself?
That's a really good question. I always thought of myself as an extrovert, somebody who gained a lot of their energy from being out and being with people and interacting, and I do love that, but I've recently found out that I'm actually quite an introvert.
Oh, really?
And I really enjoy hanging out at home, being with my family, being with my close friends.
Yeah.
having a barbecue. My favorite place to be is on the couch or in bed, just hanging out, reading a book, watching a silly Netflix series that I could probably stop watching after the second episode, but continue to the fourth.
You never do. I totally know what you feel.
You know, spending time with people that are positive and really full of life. I mean, that's where I get my energy back, I guess. But being alone, like being at home with my family, with my boys, date night with my husband, I feel like I get to be an adult. You know, we get to just sit down and have a conversation that lasts longer than 3 minutes without mom, dad. Mom, dad.
Important, for sure. I'm sure lots of our viewers understand that feeling.
It can be challenging getting time to just decompress. So it is important to do that.
But that kind of brings me on to my next question is that you're successful, you're so giving, you're so active, but you've got children under the age of 5. Like, how the hell do you do that?
Well, I think, again, it comes back to teamwork. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and we have a 13-year-old goddaughter, and she lives with us part-time, and she's such a love, and she's such a big help. You know, our boys, they're full of beans, they're full of energy, but they rejuvenate us in the same way. You know, you have to put your phone away and just get in the dirt and play with them. You know, you got to get your hands and feet in there and just soak up every minute that you have. But it can be challenging, you know, having the daycare, and my son just started kindergarten last year, and
congrats.
I started my career last September, so it all happened at once. I went to work as a trauma therapist, and my boys went to school and daycare, and I left being a stay-at-home mom where I was for 5.5 years. So it was a lot of big changes, and I had to really adjust and figure out what is important, what do I absolutely need to do. I was also running a private practice during that time, so I saw clients on Mondays and Fridays, and I worked at the Elizabeth Fry Society Tuesday through Thursday, and I tried to catch up on my mama's work on the weekends.
Wow.
But that just speaks to the amazing team that I have. I mean, we've got a donation team that manage all the people who want to donate items to us. They also speak with the people who need items, and they connect them directly. We get items from corporate sponsorships, and we go pick those up and redistribute them. We just received a year's worth of diapers for 60 families from Jillian Harris,
That's awesome.
our new celebrity ambassador. She's amazing. We're really excited about it. But the intricacies in finding the people who need these items and donating them, how to do it, when to load the van, when to get there, it's a very intricate system.
Oh, it sounds like it.
And then we have the event planning team that we need to make sure everybody's taken care of. And I mean, they're professional, highly successful women, and so they really can operate on their own and just with a little bit of direction on, you know, what everybody's doing. And so it's just finding that balance. And I've got 2 women I work with, Sydney and Candace, and we are the 3 amigas, I guess I should say. And together we're looking to conquer the world.
So it seems like it's so important to your life that you found the right people. That's what it came down to, was finding the right husband that would support you, and finding the right friends and the right amigos, you know. So is that the advice that you would give to young people starting out on their career, unsure about what they want to do? They're kind of like at a junction. What would that advice be to make the choices and be happy in the way that you are?
I would say surround yourself with people who challenge you, who are smarter than you. Surround yourself with people who you emulate, someone that you'd like to be. The more that you connect with people who you feel offer something more, you know, that you look up to, the more people you spend, or the more time you spend with people like that, you know, the more successful you just automatically become, because of a natural inclination to become more connected with people that have these ideas. And they're people that don't talk about other people. They talk about ideas. They talk about the future. They talk about making footprints on the moon. You know, and I would say just never give up. I had a lot of obstacles in my way growing up. There was a lot of things that came up that were challenging for me. I've dealt with depression for most of my life, and that's something I'm learning to be more vocal about, because I've been able to come through hard times and surpass any expectation because of that label that I was given. And I won't live to that label. I won't be stigmatized by any of that. I'm going to get loud about what's important, and that's being good to yourself. That's following your passion, following your dream. You know, if your dad wants you to be a lawyer or a doctor and you want to be a artist or something like that, follow your dream. You know, when you do something that you love, it never feels like work.
That's great. So last question. As a counselor and as someone who's, as you just said, dealt with these emotional issues, what is your advice and what were your tools to combat and overcome the emotional obstacles or the physical obstacles that are in your path? And what would you say to someone who sat watching this and feels that they're being held back? How would you say they can get over that?
The first step is to recognize that there's absolutely nothing wrong with asking for help. In fact, it's a sign of strength. When you can reach out and say, I could be better, I want to feel better, I deserve to feel better. Seeing a counselor is so helpful. I mean, talking it through can sometimes just give you a different perspective on things. I do holistic body talk, I do healing, I do things that work for me. I do all these different kinds of physical activities that make me feel amazing. I do Muay Thai, which is like kickboxing at Pacific Top Team Martial Arts, and my instructor there, Sarah, she inspires me, she pushes me, and she makes me feel like King Kong. You know, I can conquer the world after one of those classes.
Yeah, that's
and,
awesome.
you know, getting out, being physically active, seeking out a counselor if you need it, seeking out the resources and the support. You know, for the mamas that we support at Mamas for Mamas, so many of them work 7 days a week just to get food on the table. They don't have time to go to the gym. They don't have time to sleep properly. Sleep is one of the most important things. And for single moms or for moms without the ability to get a good night's sleep, I would say, you know, find time in the day to meditate for 3 minutes. Find time that you can just make for you, because it is so challenging in today's world with fast-paced, you know, automatic answers and everything happens right away, to find time to just be.
Yeah.
So I would say, you know, find time to just be and love yourself.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
if you don't love yourself, nobody else will know how.
Great. Thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you.
Your words of wisdom have been inspiring.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.